started. So today we are going to talk about section 3-4 from your book. You do not need to write this stuff down. You do not need to take notes. I'm also not assigning the bookwork questions for section 3-4. We're going to talk about it just so that you can be more informed and know what rights and laws are out there in case you ever need them. But I don't think it's something where you need to memorize like the year that any of these came out or the name of a certain law or right. So let me share this. So again, those of you that came in, you do not need to write any of this down. Just kind of make sure you're listening. If you have questions, ask me. You can read about all of this in your book. This is a kind of longer section in your book, just kind of warning you. So there are some laws protecting your consumer rights. So there's what's called the Consumer Bill of Rights, which basically says you have the right to safety, you have the right to be informed, you have the right to choose purchases, you have the right to complain, you have the right to basic needs, compensated for fair claims, education, and a healthy environment. So you have all of these rights. If you ever feel like one of your rights is being violated, there is a slide that shows you, and obviously you're not going to have this down the road, but you could always just Google it. The airline passenger rights. So a lot of these things that I'll talk about in the next couple of minutes are going to be things that we just kind of, I think, take for granted and assume to be true. So if your flight is delayed or canceled, they have to tell you. They have to tell you about the fees. They have to compensate you if you're bumped from your flight. So some of these were kind of brought to play, in 1999, and then it was kind of amended in 2009 and 2011. So you have these rights. Again, if you ever feel like one of them is being violated, just Google it. Consumer Technology Bill of Rights. These are two definitions. You don't necessarily need to write them down. I'm not going to put them on your test. They are on your vocab worksheet, but you can always just look them up. So time shifting says you have the right basically to record video or audio for later viewing or listening. Space shifting, so time shifting, basically you save it for another time. Space shifting is storing media, so movies or music, on one device to be accessed from another place through another device. So you're shifting the space that you're watching it on, which you may do both of these at the same time. Patient's Bill of Rights. So you have the right to be informed, you have the right to choose a doctor, you have the right to ER care. They can't deny you going in if you need to be seen. You have the right to make your own treatment decisions and for everything to be confidential. So those are your Patient's Bill of Rights. More of these consumer protection laws. So Food, Drugs, and Cosmetics Act. So foods have to be safe and wholesome. Cosmetics have to be safe for human use, and drugs have to be approved by the FDA. Hazardous Substances Act. So warning labels have to be given on household products. So you might look at like cleaning products. Typically the stuff in my house, we keep it under the sink. They're going to have warning labels. And then if something is defective, they have to let you know via a recall. And then this drug amendment says they have to be safely tested before they're sold, and that the drug ads must contain potential side effects. So maybe you've seen a commercial where they kind of tell you all of these great things about this new drug that's coming out for whatever. And then at the end, they might really quickly state all the potential side effects. Or if it's in a magazine, they're usually listed very small at the bottom. Cigarette Labeling and Advertising Act. So warning labels have to be put on those. There is the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act. So there's national standards for safety. Care Labeling Act, so your clothes, they have to have that tag in them that tells you how to clean them and care for them. Machine wash with light colors, tumble dry low. That's a law, it has to be there. Family Education Rights and Privacy Act protects students' private information like your social security number. So the school can't share that information with anybody. Nutrition Labeling and Education Act, so I'm sure you've noticed it before, all of the nutrition information labeled on the stuff you buy at the grocery store. That's a law. Also, restaurants now have to have that information available to you. HIPAA basically says you have the right to privacy of your health information, and you have to sign a release before any medical records can be shared with someone else. So your health information cannot be shared with somebody without your right, or without your consent. I'm sorry, that's your right. So these are some sources of consumer protection. So basically, these are federal agencies. No, you don't need to memorize them. You don't need to know what each one stands for. These are places that kind of make sure these laws happen and where you can go to if you, again, feel like your rights are not being met. There's also private organizations that you can go through. You can make police reports if necessary, depending on the situation, obviously. One second. Sorry. Okay. So how are consumers defrauded? There's several different ways. So deception, we've probably heard the word. It's false or misleading claims made about the quality, price, or purpose of a particular product, basically being lied to. Bait and switch, what that is a store will like offer something for a good deal, and then when you get there, they're like, oh, we're sold out of that, but here, buy this one instead. So they kind of bait you to get you in the store, and then they switch what they're offering you. A fake sale, when they say something is on sale, but it's really just how much they normally sell it for. There's lowballing. So again, they offer something at a low service price and then try to get you to buy more when you're there. There's a pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme, pigeon drop, fraudulent representation. Those could be people going door to door. You have to be careful about. Miracle creams, you want to be careful. Infomercials, make sure like a lot of those have some sort of hidden commitment. So you want to make sure you know kind of all of the details in fine print. And then this is a little bit more applicable. So again, that stuff was, we talked about your rights and then some ways that you can be defrauded. Again, if you ever think it's happening to you, just do a Google search, see where to go, what to do next. But so how to protect yourself, shop safely online. So you want to use URLs that end in an S. So HTTPS, that S means it is a secure site. You want to use a credit card or prepaid gift card. I personally recommend your credit card, and it could just be your debit card or bank card, because oftentimes you have fraud protection on your account. A lot of the banks nowadays offer it, and it's just something that's there, so you can kind of call them and report it, and they can often go back and try to get you that money back. Never give out your social security number. You don't give out your bank account number to a person. Again, make sure you're using that secured web page. Stay informed, do your research, make sure you know it's a reputable company before you're gonna kind of buy something from them. And then if something is a problem, kind of the steps that your book recommends is take the product back, try to get a refund or replacement. If that doesn't work, put your complaint in writing. You can file it with those consumer protection agencies like the Better Business Bureau. And then as a last resort, you could always seek legal action. But most places and legit companies, they're going to try to get you taken care of by this second step. That's what we were talking about yesterday, that customer service. If they have that customer service, they're going to try to take care of you and make you happy. And then these are some warning signs of fraud, sorry. This is from your book. So if you hear things like you can get something for nothing, you get this high quality product for a really low price. If you do this, you win this for free. You or your home has been specially selected. Come to this demonstration, no obligation to buy. If you don't decide now, you'll lose the opportunity. So they're kind of trying to pressure you into making this buying decision, or they're trying to tell you that you're going to get this amazing thing for a low cost or free. And so if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There's going to be some catch, because these companies, they're obviously going to be wanting to be making money. So if they're just giving all this stuff away from free, they're not making money in that case. All right. So that was all from the section 4 in our book. Like I said, that stuff's not going to be on your test. Some of the vocab words will come up on your vocab worksheet for homework. I just look up the definitions in the book. You're welcome to Google them. However, they might not word for word match the ones in your book. Those aren't going to be the ones that are going to be on your test, though. So keep that in mind. Next, we are going to do this exercise 3-8 on inflation. So I posted it on yesterday, Monday, when I posted the weekly assignments in Google Classroom. I'll share my screen so you see what one it looks like. So it looks like this. You do not have to print it, though you can, or you can just do it wherever you did last night's homework. You can write this out. You can type it in your Google Doc, whatever works for you. So I'll give you a second to kind of get what you need there. Okay, so here at the beginning, it says, compare a pay increase to the inflation rate. Assume that the inflation rate for the past year was 4%. You are worried that your pay is not keeping pace with the cost of living. Your average net pay this year is $2,225 per month. It was $2,176 last year. We're going to use that to answer these questions here. By what dollar amount did your average net pay per month increase? So last year was $2,176. Now it's $2,225. So we're going to subtract those to find the increase. So $2,225 minus $2,176. So 2,225 minus 2,176. So this is a $49 increase. So again, that was the dollar amount. But now for number 2, by what percent did your average net pay increase per month? So to find this as a percent, we have to do some division. So we take the $49 increase and we divide it by how much, sorry, that's focusing, how much we were being paid. So that's just a fraction bar. So we were being paid the $2,176. So $49 divided by 2,176. How much it went up over how much we had been making originally. So 49 divided by 2,176. That's 0.023. Notice there's not a 3 on my calculator, but I'm going to round that second 2 up to a 3 because it's a 5. We still have to write this as a percent. Remember, to write it as a percent, you move our decimal 2 places. So that's a 2.3% increase. Again, move your decimal 2 places, or that's the same as multiplying this by 100. So this was only a 2.3% increase, even though it says inflation was 4%. So this pay raise doesn't keep up with inflation. So essentially the standard of living would be going down. All right, so the next part. The government calculates the rate of inflation based on the change in the consumer price index, the CPI. Remember, CPI is how we measure inflation. That's on your test Friday. It includes many types of goods and services. Assume that on average you pay the following monthly expenses. Based on this information, complete the last 2 columns and then answer the questions that follow. So what we're doing in this table here is we're doing what we did on problems number 1 and 2. So to get the dollar amount change, what we do here is we take this year and we subtract last year. Oops, I didn't mean to write the word subtract. This year minus last year. That's how we're going to fill in this column here. So the new, and then minus the old. So this year for rent, we're paying $800 a month. Last year we paid $800 a month. That's a $0 change, which is also going to be a 0% change. Our car payment was $299 last year and this year, so it's also a 0 and a 0. Anything that was the same for both of them, you can fill in as 0 and 0. 0. So the top 4 are 0, and there's a few more later down. Okay, so for our water bill though, this year we're paying $17 a month. Last year we were paying $15 a month. So 17 minus 15, that went up $2 a month, which doesn't seem like that much. It's only $2. But to get the percent change, what we do here is we take the dollar change and we divide it by last year. How much did it go up or change divided by how much it was previously. So it went up $2 divided by the $15 it was originally. So again, make sure we move our decimal 2 places. 1, 2. So that's a 13.3% increase, that our water bill went up. So $2 doesn't sound like much, but if it was only $15, that's a lot. That was 13.3%. So this next one for groceries, we now are paying $2.57, and last year we were paying $2.50. So that's a $7 increase. So to find the percent, we do our $7 divided by the $2.50 we paid last year. Move that decimal 2 places. So our groceries only went up 2.8%. You're going to do that same thing with this whole table, even the bottom one. So they made a total for each column. So you do the $2,043 minus $2,000. So you're spending $43 more a month now than you were last year. Well, we want to know what percent that is. So $43 divided by last year's $2,000 a month. So that's about 2.2%. So all of your monthly expenses here, it's saying went up 2.2% from last year. So when you, then there are other questions on the second page to this. So here for number 3, it says, for which goods or services did the price change by more than 4%, the national inflation rate? So you just go back to this table and you list them. So which ones you're looking in this right-hand column were more than 4%, where the water bill was. And then you just keep listing them based on any of these numbers that were greater than 4%. Which goods or services did the price change by less than the national inflation rate? Well, so now you're looking at which ones are less than 4%. So your rent, your car payment, your cell phone bill, you just list them. What had the biggest percentage increase? Well, which one of these had the highest number? And then you have a couple more questions. How does the overall total rate of change compare to the national inflation rate? So the overall total, and is your pay enough to cover it? So we see our pay increase there. And is there anything you can do to lower the cost of the items that increased? So look at the ones that increased. Do you have control that your water bill went up? Do you have control that your groceries went up? Which of these can you have control over? What can you do to lower those costs? So you're going to finish this worksheet. Fill in this table. Most of these questions, 3, 4, and 5, just come directly from the table, and then 6 and 7 have you thinking about it a little bit. So you'll finish that, and then you'll see, again, I want to remind you this week due dates are a little bit different. So that worksheet was right there, exercise 3-8. Your homework right here is this vocab worksheet. Yesterday, you took notes on section 3 and did bookwork problem. Tomorrow, we're going to do a Kahoot for a review, and then we have some math stuff. You'll need this worksheet to answer those questions. And all of those that I just talked about, those are due Thursday before class starts. So moving it up a day, those are due Thursday by 2 p.m. The reason being is I'm going to post the answers Thursday afternoon so that you can check them before your test on Friday. So Friday, you'll take your test. We'll still have class on Thursday. We'll do some activity. You won't have extra homework. It should be something we can do in class. And then you'll have your test on Friday. But so if you have questions and need more help on this worksheet, need me to do 1 or 2 more with you, I'd be happy to do that. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.